We'll continue on with Colonel Grant Newsham, attorney and author. He has edited multiple volumes regarding Korean election fraud and has been on this issue for half a decade. He also wrote a book that is educating many of us called When China Attacks as well. I would commend that too. But Colonel and attorney and author Grant Newsham has some valuable insights for us as well.
Thank you, Morris. I appreciate that. I'll just get going right away. This team looked into the 2025 elections in South Korea. I actually got my start in 2020, looking into the National Assembly elections there, and have looked into the 2022 presidential election, 2024 National Assembly elections, and this most recent one. And when I first went in 2020, I didn't expect to find anything. I just wanted a trip to South Korea. I'm half joking. But I didn't think there'd be anything, because elections turn out in ways you often don't expect. But in very short order, I realized that something was wrong. And it was probably the biggest surprise of my professional life, short of the Washington football team never winning a Super Bowl in 35 years. But really the biggest surprise, to see how much corruption there was in the South Korea election, and I have never changed my mind since then. You have evidence all over the place. You have documentary evidence, you have video evidence, you have physical evidence in the machines, you have eyewitness testimony. It's available to be examined. You have scientific evidence as well. One example, it's been alleged that the statistical outcomes of the South Korean elections demonstrate illegality. Well, the former head of South Korea's equivalent of MIT told me that, look, I tried to figure this out, and either God did it or it's rigged. And that is compelling evidence. And the evidence is there. Now, in the years that I've been looking at this, how many times has the evidence been reviewed by the media, South Korean or foreign, by the National Election Commission, by the South Korean courts? I think you know the answer: none. I'll stay here for the next 6 months if somebody can show me anyone who has looked at this evidence. Instead, what you hear is, it's baseless, it's conspiracy theories. Well, then you ask, well, did you look at the evidence? No, it's baseless, it's conspiracy theories. Well, did you look at the evidence? No. Well, this is a point at which this sort of thing just becomes either just criminal activity or just unbelievably stupid. And that's what we have seen here. So as I said, that is the answer to all of this. When someone says, well, it's baseless, it's these people that are making up things. Well, show me a report, show me an examination of this evidence. It's all there to be examined, and nobody ever does. Well, that tells you plenty. Now, what's at stake here? Ultimately, South Korea as a good ally of the United States. We take it for granted. You always hear it's an ironclad relationship, forged in the blood of the Korean War. The Koreans love us, never been stronger. You will hear that from all parts of the U.S. government and elsewhere. Well, they used to say that about Venezuela before Chavez came. It was very strongly tied to the Americans. We had a military relationship. It was the hemisphere's oldest democracy, short of us. And it was just perfectly strong. And then look what happened after Chavez came. In a very short time, suddenly Venezuela is pro-Cuba, as anti-America as you can get. Is there some reason that can't happen with South Korea? No. And what you're seeing in the manipulation of the electoral process in South Korea is an effort by hardcore South Korean leftist radicals to turn South Korea into a one-party state that is aligned with the Chinese Communist Party, aligned with North Korea, and they want to break the U.S.-South Korea relationship. That's what they want. Most people don't want it, but we've seen many cases where a ruthless group of committed radicals can move a country where most people want to go. You will saw something similar in Turkey. Specifics vary, but Turkey is not what it was 30 years ago or 20 years ago, and you wonder if it's even an ally. And that is what's at stake. Yet, all you will hear is ironclad relationship, never been stronger. Well, I wouldn't bet on that. And the elections are just one tool that the leftists are using in order to take over control and move South Korea away from consensual government, away from democracy. Because they have taken over now the presidency, the National Assembly, they have an overwhelming control, gotten by electoral fraud. They have the labor unions, academia, the media has been emasculated. They wouldn't even think of looking into this. The court system they've never examined any of the electoral fraud because they're afraid. You have as well big business. They're threatening, they're pushing, they're trying to get their claws into that. The South Korean military has even been put on notice. The last piece of the puzzle was the presidency. And the evidence speaks for itself. And as I said, this was a huge surprise to me to find out what was going on with South Korean elections. And I think we need to take this very seriously. Now, what can your members do, the representatives? Well, one, you can help them, just tell them something's going on here. And you can write letters, you can speak up, and hold hearings. And often that some interest from the United States makes a it has a huge sort of benefit for the people who are trying to defend freedom in South Korea. So the first thing you got to do is remember that thing that I just said. When someone tells you, "Oh, this is conspiracy theories," well, show me the review of the evidence that's been done. It doesn't exist. So thank you very much for coming. And I really can't overstate just how serious this is. And as I said, it was a huge surprise to me, but it was. If I wasn't an adult, I'd probably cry to see what's happened in South Korea. Thank you.